Hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to write to me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video or any other videos that I have posted in the past. Recently, a viewer wrote to me and he told me that after he watched my video on Mongolian beef, he quickly realized that he can't use the same approach to cook Mongolian chicken. This is a good example of template-based cooking. You take a basic template and you make modifications and create substitutions. Actually will lead to greater diversity in your repertoire. He told me that after he cooked the Mongolian chicken with chicken breast, he substituted with chicken tenderloin. He always liked to try chicken tenderloin and see how it will work out in a stir-fry dish. So I followed suit and I got some chicken tenderloin as well. And I found some chicken tenderloin at a local supermarket. I was very pleased to see that it is all fresh chicken tenderloin and it comes in a family package. Although this is more than what I can consume in one meal, so I cut them all up and I used my advanced prepping method. I put them in Ziploc sandwich bag. I freeze them in such a way as the proportion that I need, and I also freeze them in this flat configuration. And this has great advantage because this allows me to thaw them out in less than 5 to 10 minutes. So this allows me to have chicken almost any time I want. I really don't need to plan ahead and it becomes more spontaneous. I first cook the chicken tenderloin with my Walk with Tak basic seasoning mix that will add umami flavor to the chicken. To create caramelization during the frying process, I'm going to add a little bit sugar. Not very much, about 1 teaspoon. That is sufficient just to coat the chicken. Last but not the least, I'm going to coat the chicken with cornstarch. The cornstarch plays a significant role in not only create a light breading on the surface of chicken, but it also can keep the chicken moist and tender. Now this method is frequently known as dry marinating. Now there are different ways to marinate your chicken, and the dry marinating is to use only dry seasoning agent as shown here. Using this method, you're able to keep the chicken as dry as possible. And in this case, it has a great advantage when you want to sear the chicken. And next I prep some onion. First I cut off both ends of the onion. I discovered the most effective way to peel the onion is by using the knife to cut a slit over the skin of the onion. This actually will provide a place that you can find where you can peel the onions right to the part of the skin that you want to discard it. And this method is extremely efficient. I usually do not like to eat onion because I find peeling onions a lot of work, but this method is great. And next I use my knife and just thinly slice the onion. Now the Mongolian chicken is well known for the presence of onion, and this is how the onion is being added. I'm going to cook this dish in my Cucina 14-inch stainless steel wok, which is my everyday wok. I'm going to start out with about 2 tablespoons of canola oil. You can use any oil that you would like. This step is important. I'm going to season my stainless steel wok with the spot seasoning method. This is absolutely essential because stainless steel wok cannot hold on to its seasoning. Even wash it, you will remove it. So you need to season the wok each time in order to create non-stick coating. But it worked really well. I will heat up the cooking oil until it starts to smoke gently, and I let it to smoke for additional 15 seconds. And this is time when the wok is being seasoned to create a non-stick cooked surface. And next, I'm going to lay the chicken on the surface of the wok in a single layer. And this method is frequently known as shallow frying. Basically, because the chicken has been coated with cornstarch, it will create a light breading. So instead of immersed in a large amount of oil, you can use only a small amount of oil on the surface of the wok. And you fry the chicken on one side first and turn it over to fry the other side. This method is excellent to add flavor to the chicken because the chicken will be brown and in some cases the chicken will be also slightly charred. The method is very simple. It takes just a few extra seconds, but in my mind it's well worth it. Now when you turn the chicken over, you notice that some of the chicken has been charred. And this actually is one way to create what is known as wok chi. And wok chi is basically the food take on a smoky flavor. And using this method, you notice that the chicken almost like it has been grilled. Coating the chicken with cornstarch is an effective way to achieve this outcome. It is a few extra seconds, but the flavor definitely is something to be aware of. Next, I switch to my wok spatula. I'm going to stir fry the chicken. One important reason for doing that is that this will allow all the chicken pieces to cook as evenly as possible, and this is definitely one advantage of stir frying. At this point, the chicken is done. I'm going to remove the chicken from the wok and set them aside. I'm going to combine it with the dish later on. This method is frequently known as combinatorial stir frying. Using this method, I have much better control on the doneness and the texture of the chicken, so I will not overcook it. And next, I add the onion to the wok. And probably one of the reasons that the onion come in thin slices because this allows them to cook very rapidly. And also, the thin slices will provide a better culinary experience for the dish. And when onion cut in thin slices like this, they cook very rapidly. Usually, it takes only about 50 to 90 seconds. At this point, I decided I'm going to add a little bit more cooking oil. It is important to make sure there's enough cooking oil in the bottom of the wok. But you don't need a lot. You just need a tiny residue of it. This is important because if you don't have the onion at the bottom, it's quite likely that the onion will get burned. And you do not want the onion to burn because that would not be flavorful. So keeping an eye on it is important, and also to cook it under low heat. To garnish the dish, I add some carrot right to the wok. The carrot will provide both nutrition, flavor, and texture. But equally important is that because of the brilliant color of the carrot, it will make the dish more appealing. Quite often when we cook, we might not realize that how important the appearance of the dish is. A good dish with a good looking color presentation is usually considered to be more tasty than the dish that look drab. I'm going to start out with about 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce as a starter. I'm going to make adjustment later on if I feel I need to have more oyster sauce. I'm also adding about half tablespoon of hoisin sauce. Both of these sauces I consider to be my foundational sauce. I always use them as a starter. Depending on the type of dish that I cook, I might supplement it with other type of sauces. This is a dark soy sauce, which are slightly different from the traditional light soy sauce. They're dark in color and they are not as salty. After the quick taste test, I decided I'm going to go add some additional sugar because I'm going to cook this dish for a friend of mine. And his son loved this dish, but he likes it sweet. So I'm going to add the type of sugar I think he will enjoy. The final step of this dish is that I'm going to do a spot cleaning. Actually, I'm also going to retrieve the flavor back from the surface of the wok. With some of the sauces and ingredients has burned there, it would be nice to return the flavor and make it more delicious and tasty. And the last step. And now the dish is basically done. I turn off the heat and I'm going to add the chicken to the ingredients in the wok. This will complete the dish. And I call this method combinatorial stir frying because I cook ingredients that have different flavor, different texture separately. So when you combine them, it will give more significant flavor and taste for each individual item because they have been cooked separately. I'm going to serve this dish with some white rice, which is a very common way to serve Mongolian beef or Mongolian chicken. This dish provides wonderful opportunity to show you the simplicity of how to prepare a dish like this using a basic template. And then I garnish the dish with some sesame seed, which is always a welcome sight to any dish in providing additional flavor. So finally, I'm going to place a few strips of a scallion, which is the stem portion of the scallion, on the surface of the chicken. And this will make the chicken have a fresh onion flavor. So as you can see, this dish is very simple, straightforward, and easy to cook. And in fact, because it is a template, the process is almost identical to Mongolian beef. However, Mongolian beef use a slightly different approach to cooking the beef. Beef and chicken, even though they are quite similar, but there are quite a bit difference of how you cook them to achieve the desired outcome. This video demonstrates a good example of tempeh-based cooking by providing you with ideas that you can create your own dishes by making substitutions. I post a video each day to help people to make home cooking as part of their daily routine. So if you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking, and I will see you tomorrow.